Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another student interview. Today we got the man, the myth, Evan, also the Canadian. How we doing, brother?
Not bad. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Um, so I guess just jumping straight in, tell me a little bit because I know you had an interesting situation where after you joined the program, you kind of had some time where you were out of town and stuff. But before we jump into kind of your story and everything, starting at your first day, once you got back in town and your first actual day knocking, how much did you make I guess, your first month after joining, or, yeah, I guess we can kind of start there. How much did you make your first month after joining and knocking?
First month after joining and knocking it was just shy of $20,000.
Nice. And how much in your second month, do you know? Or if we might even still be technically in.
We're still in my second month.
Okay, cool. So I guess we'll just kind of go off month one.
Yeah,
Sweet. So just shy of you said 20 or 22?
20.
20. Okay. And so kind of now I just want to, I guess, just kind of jump into your situation, like of what were you doing before you kind of found me and came across HSA and before you joined? What were you kind of doing before, and like how did that all kind of lead to where we are now?
Yeah, I was a lot of kind of like what I used to do was like roof and gutter cleaning. And I started out my business with window cleaning and going door to door. And then I kind of shifted and I went more so to like roof and gutters and self-employed. And rather than like employees. At the time, I was like 17 and I was kind of scared, but I kind of shifted, went to roof and gutters and did some of that, and it was good. I just noticed like you can't really, like, being up in Canada, it gets really cold and moist where I live, and like you can't run or you can't go on roofs in like December versus you can clean windows in December. It doesn't really matter. So I was rocking with that for like a year and a half, and it was good. I was just kind of just like hitting like 8 to like at most 12K per month consistently, and it was good. It was just like a comfortable life, and it was good for like where I was at, and I was also in school. And then yeah, I think it was like March or May. No, it was May. I think I joined. Yeah, and I came across your videos, and then I was like, yeah, let's rip it. So I joined, and then had to finish some roof and gutters still. So like I took out a week. So like I guess you could say like 3.5 to like 4 weeks was the just shy of 20,000. And yeah, I reviewed all the course material while I was kind of like away and getting back. And then I reviewed everything, made sure it was good. And then I started knocking. And then yeah, first day was like 3K sold.
Nice. That's crazy. So you sold $3,000 on your first day of knocking after joining.
Yeah, I sold $3,000 on my first day of knocking, and then like you might be thinking, oh, how'd you not do more than 20? At the time, I was still completing those roof and gutter jobs. Like I had pre-booked since like January all the way up until like I'm not even kidding. I had ran like ads and stuff, and I get pre-books up until like mid-May or like yeah. So I was still completing them. So I would just go out and knock one day a week, every Sunday for like I think it was 2 weeks, and so literally 2 days of knocking. And I lined up the first Sunday was 3K, and the next Sunday was 3.5. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy. So like you had the job still on the schedule, but with like if you had the situation to where you had no jobs on the schedule and you were able to, with your worker that you have now, just like fulfill all the jobs that you were selling, like how much do you think you could have made that like just in that first month if you didn't already have like all the jobs kind of packed on your schedule?
Like 25 to like 30, maybe 35 if I like really pushed it. But
Yeah. No, I think so for sure too. Because you very quickly, I think one of the reasons why you succeeded so much in sales is because you took the course material very seriously and like consumed everything before actually knocking your first door. And then when you did, I remember you were getting feedback a lot on your pitches, which is like, I think one of the most valuable parts about the group is just being able to get real time feedback. And you just like took that seriously and it very, very quickly showed, which is awesome. So, I guess kind of just to back up a little bit, like I know you had the kind of just like you said, self-employed home service business. What were you kind of doing before that? Or was that like your first endeavor? Did you ever kind of have any other like jobs growing up? Or was the first thing that you ever did just kind of starting your own home service business, like working for yourself?
Yeah, so like I I got my first job when I was 15 and it was at McDonald's and just like like casual stuff like moving boxes and like I still work out quite a bit and like for my age I like was pretty big so I would just move boxes for that for just like McDonald's and just like help out with manual labor stuff and then um yeah I saw like uh the videos online of guys doing like all this money like through window cleaning and all that and I'm like okay well I might as well try so went to Home Depot, bought the equipment, just like a quick scrubber and squeegee and a pole and a bucket and some soap, and went out knocked for like 2 days. Each day was like 2 hours. So not a lot of knocking, but like 2 hours each day, nothing. And then the third day, I went out and I got one sale and I was like buzzing. I sold it for I still remember $169 was my first sale. And it was just like a rancher with just windows. So it was I still remember the people as well. They're great. But I hopped on that, did it, and I like instantly knew I was hooked. I was like, okay, like I can make something out of this. So same thing next day, went out to the same neighborhood, first door, got it, 129. It wasn't a lot, but it was just like way better. Like $129 was like an 8 hour shift at McDonald's, and I completed that in like 2 hours. And I was just like blown away. And then yeah, I kind of just kept on doing that, got a water fed pole and kind of ran with that. And then I saw like a bunch of guys saying like, oh, like gutter cleaning and then roof cleaning. And it's really good. It's just where I live, it's super wet. So you can't just like use a leaf blower and blow all this shit out all the time because it'll like splatter and whatnot. But yeah, so it was good. I ran with that, like I said, for like a good year and a half. And then yeah, I came across to you and then first month, bam.
That's crazy. So that's awesome. I didn't know you were working at McDonald's when you first started.
Yeah.
Um, that's sweet. So you worked at McDonald's was it for like around 2 years, like from 15 to 17?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And then when you started, how long did it take you? Because I remember you said you're doing like 8 to 12K a month. How long did it take you to kind of get to that point, like consistently?
Mm, with yeah, so like 8 to 12 kills with roofing gutters, probably at least like 2 to 3 months, probably like 3 to 4, I'd say, to get to
Okay.
like 8 to 12K. Um, and yeah, I was just like doing ads and didn't really door knock a lot, but I was just doing a lot of ads and it was working, but it was just a lot of stuff that I didn't like doing and I didn't see really too much of a future with that part.
Interesting. So what made you like doing 10-ish K per month, like which for a lot of people is like the pinnacle of success of like 10K a month is like the number that everyone's kind of first striving for. Already being at that number, what kind of made you want more of saying like, okay, I see like this program and still like want to join? Because I think that's the case for a lot of people. Like they get to the point where they're doing, for some people it's five, for some people it's 10 or 15, but they get to that number and they just kind of feel like they've made it. I guess like what for you made you want to continue like growing in the first place and like kind of made you want to join something like HSA?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say just the pure fact of like it's real. Like you can like it's not like you're like the smartest person on earth and it's like event like at the start you're just an average guy and you made it work and you did this and it's like same with all these guys in HSA like they're just normal dudes. No one's like an IQ of 180. Like they're not like Einstein. They're normal guys that just take a risk on themselves, bet on themselves and rock with it. And I think if you just have like a mentality of like you will not quit whenever, like you'll be fine. There are times where I was like barely scraping by in the winter time and it was like brutal. And I think that was probably a huge motivator. Last December, I I think I did a total of like three roof and gutter jobs. My income was like horrible. It was like brutal. And I think that really kind of showed me like, okay, this is really seasonal, like roof and gutter stuff. You can't hop up on roofs where I am in like colder months. And I need a way to make income. Like no one's gonna help me. So I yeah, I kind of like was thinking, okay, I used to do windows. It was good. I would clean windows in like November. And then also just like I don't know, just like going on like just the freedom as well. Like not having to respond to anyone and doing what you want, going where you want, buying what you want. Um, my girlfriend and I, yeah, we're gonna take some trips and whatnot, so it'll be great. But I think mainly like if I had to sum it up in one answer, I would say just 100% the freedom. I know everyone says that, but it's just so true. Like not having to wake up at a time that you don't want to go to someone that you don't respect, to go to a job that you couldn't give a shit about. It's like I think that is like probably one of my biggest fears in life. And so taking a bet on yourself and joining a group of like-minded people, not only will it forward your kind of like business, but you'll also be helping other people forward them. And I think giving back is also a huge part in like this community as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's awesome. Um, I think that's so true, and I think there's a quote that says like you need three kind of people in your life. You need someone further along than you are to like kind of strive to be like in chase where they're at, someone at your level to compete with, and then people below you because you get a lot of fulfillment out of helping those people who are where you once were, and also like articulating things in a certain way that they can understand at a lower level helps you understand it deeper too. And I think that's so true. And like the guys in the group all want to help each other, which is sick. Um, there was one thing I wanted to touch on that I kind of remembered as you were talking to is I'm not sure if you remember, but when you first started knocking, I don't know if it was broken, but I remember your foot was like in a cast and you had like a hurt foot when you first started knocking. You're like, bro, I don't know what to do. Like I've got like was it broken? Like what went on? And like tell me about that process knocking with a broken foot and then like what your days kind of looked like selling with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll try to be quick. So basically, like like soft washing and all that, like with
Yep.
bleach.
Mhm.
So pretty much I still to this day have a pressure washing trailer and I have it and I kind of want to utilize it. I'm really just kind of dialing on windows and learning the sales process. Like I think I'm good, but you can always get better. And I really want to learn that and then later on kind of reach into that just because you can get some higher ticket stuff and um but that's besides the point. So soft washing you use like bleach, SH, and I was doing a roof wash, I think this is before the trip, I think, or after, I forget. And uh yeah, it was like an X jet. So you bring the bucket with you and fill the chemical. And my like so I'm filling up the bucket with chemical. And then for some reason I brought the chemical onto the roof, uh, filled it up on there, and then I'm like, oh, okay, let's just put some water in. And I forgot I had my pressure on. So I go like this with the gun at the bucket, and all the chemicals in there and all the pressure, it like explodes up into my face, all over my face, all on my body, and then the bucket spilled on my foot, my left foot, and it got on my socks and boots and everything. It was just like a horrible like I was wearing black as well, and everything turned like that reddish weird color, like a bloodish color almost, and it it was stinging bad after like 20 minutes, but at the first like 10 you don't really realize it. So my foot was just like, oh, okay, I'll just carry on. I finished the job, it was good, got paid. And then on the drive home I started getting like an immense itching pain on my left foot. I lifted up my sock and it was like raw, like it was just blood all over, and I was like, holy shit. So I took off like my boot while driving and then just let it like I put the AC on like my foot so I can get some air at least. And yeah, it was just like so bad. It was like a huge bleach burn. I have like pictures of it, but it was crazy. And it was like I couldn't wear shoes like that came up like pretty much regular shoes because they come up to like your ankle and they'll hit that thing every time you walk. And so it was just so bad. And I was like, holy shit, man, I don't know how I'm gonna door knock. Like I just joined this group and now I can't even do what I want. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. So I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out something. And I think it was, yeah, so I my mom, she went and got like this gauze and like this like medical tape, and we wrapped my foot like 5 times, put like two socks on, and then I still had to wear the shoe because I thought like wearing slides just looked like unprofessional. But I mean, as I realize now, it's not really the biggest deal. You can really wear whatever you want. It's just a sales process. But yeah, so I was wearing the shoes and it would hurt pretty much like every step I take, like on a little elastic band going like this every time, like pretty like intense. And it was just like such a shitty feeling. But I was telling myself, and what stuck with me, I remember it still kind of, it's like if you can, you told me if you can do this right now, then you can do like door knocking and make 20K per month without the cut easily. Like if you can do 20K per month with the cut, then what could you do without it? And I was just thinking, I was like, am I bad? I'm just like laying there. I'm like, okay, the day before, I'm like, if I can do this tomorrow and the next couple days before until it heals, which it took like a month to heal, pretty much the whole entire month. I had a scar there and still do. And um, yeah, it's just like if I can do this with the cut and it hurting and me like I look like a cripple or like an elderly person along the street. I had someone ask if I was okay actually. And um yeah, I was just knocking and I did it and I was just like, oh shit, okay. So if I can do this, like what can I do without it? And yeah, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I think like a big thing is like if there you said if there's a will, there's a way. And it just kind of like it's so true. Like if you're willing to do anything to achieve a goal, you're gonna find a way how to get it. Like you're gonna get there. So I just think like that's like a little story about my foot. But regardless to say it's good now, so we're
Yeah.
all good.
Love to hear that it's good now. I remember I don't even know if you remember. Do you remember what you did the day with your hurt foot after we had that talk?
It was I'd have to go back in our chats, but I think the day before I did my first like because I did two Sundays of just knocking in like May and lined up pretty much all of June. And I it was the day before I did my 3K and you were just like, yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. Like you can do this. What can't you do? And I was like, fuck it, let's just go and do it. So I went and knocked and then did 3K and I was just like blown away. I was just like, what is going on? But I think a huge part of that is like I think like the biggest thing is like when you join, the whole point of why you join is for the information, the knowledge. So if you just go out and start knocking without even watching the modules or anything like that, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Like you're almost, I wouldn't say wasting time because knocking doors is always a good thing, but I think consume the knowledge and then go out and knock and make sure you record everything. And that is just like the three biggest things that have helped me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think with the like watching the course material thing, it's like imagine you're playing basketball for the first time and it's like you didn't know how to shoot. And so at first you're just like overhead launching it at the basket. It's like, yes, if you just go in the gym day one and start doing this, over time you'll make a slightly higher percentage than you were at first. Like if you're making, one in every 15 shots like this, maybe you get to two in 15. But like the best thing you can do is like learn how to actually properly shoot, like learn the form. So it's like, okay, like rather than starting at 1 in 15, I'm starting at like, with the right information. Like I have the right form. And then once you're getting reps, you're actually practicing the right stuff and actually getting better at the right process of shooting or the right process of selling. And then as you're doing it, you can always continue to get feedback on, hey, is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything I can fix? But it's like, even if you ask for like feedback in the chat, like, yo, Nick, like, here's my pitch, like, break it down, like, what can I improve? It's like, if you haven't watched the material, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of things we need to improve because we're not even starting from the right basis. But you, like, did really well about, like, watching everything, then the feedback you got, it's like, okay, we're tweaking like very specific things and you're actually getting better so much faster because like you're coming from the right form. We just maybe need to work on like, if we're giving a basketball example, like just work on the footwork or work on XYZ, but you're starting from the right basis. Um,
Yeah.
which I think is huge. But yeah, I think it's really cool the foot thing because I think it's so true of like if you can make this work when you're in unideal circumstances, it becomes so much easier when you are in ideal circumstances. Like if you have a 9 to 5, if you are in college, if you're in high school, it's like imagine what kind of numbers you can do if you can make that work in those situations, or with a hurt foot, or like in a month where it's like raining almost every day. If you can make it work then, what can you do when nothing's holding you back? And it's like I've lived that myself. I've done things when like the circumstances certainly weren't ideal. Like my first thing I tried to do, like seriously, that I like joined a course for was like remote sales. And that's like taking calls and Zooms for people. And I had like heinous acne at the time, like terrible, like covered, face covered. And it's like, okay, well, if I could work on my confidence and work my skill with crazy acne, like how much more confident would I be whenever like that clears up? And it was the same thing for door to door. I still had it when I started door to door. Like there were seasons where like there was certainly lots of things that could have held me back, but I knew if I can even just get 80% of the same result that I want to when it's super, super hard, I'll be way better off when it's like when that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to learn that skill because if you don't, the only alternative is just like waiting and you're not even in control of your life anymore. It's like, does it suck to like when it's raining? Does it suck knocking with a hurt foot? Does it suck like are there tons of things that could suck? Yes. But it's like if the only alternative to pushing through it is doing nothing, it's like that's the only way to guarantee you don't succeed. Um, and I think it was just really cool to see you amongst a couple of other people who also kind of had that same mentality. Because I think Braden is another guy in the program who also he had the broken foot.
Yeah.
But I said the same thing to him, and it was so cool to just be like, "Yo, like if you guys can do this now, so much more is possible when it does become more ideal." So really cool to see. But I'd say to kind of just like wrap it up. What is kind of one piece of advice that you would tell to your past self, whether it's your 15-year-old self, like working at McDonald's, or like your 16 or 17-year-old self when you first started your business, or maybe even, like whatever that might be, just to the past version of yourself? What's kind of one overwhelming piece of advice or um, something you'd kind of tell him?
Sure. Okay, so I think if I had to just give one piece of advice, it's tough, but I would just say it sounds like so simple and so like, are you kidding me? Like I could just scroll on Instagram for a minute and find that. But like go with your gut. It sounds so crazy, but just go with your gut. Your gut feeling is the best. When I was kind of on the fence about joining, I the part that makes you want to join is seeing everyone say, "Oh, I went from 0 to 20K in this time." And the part that doesn't make you want to join is like, "Oh, okay, like can I do this or is it worth it?" But I think obviously in business there's risks and you just got to be able to take one. And if you're not willing to take one risk that could have huge upside potential, then don't be in the game. Go like work a very subtle job or something that's going to be a lot more calming just because again, like business, yeah, it's about risks and if you're not willing to bet on yourself, then what can you bet on? And it's like the like there I always love this thing. It's like the pain of regret is much bigger than the pain of discipline. So it's like if you're laying on your deathbed and you're 90 and you've worked a good 9 to 5 and you followed the traditional route, will you be regretting saying like, oh man, like when I was 19 or 18 or 16, 17, I really wish I took that risk and joined because who knows where I could have been. And it's like that is probably the biggest fear I have in my personal life, like that's just one of the biggest fears I have. And you just got to be willing to just go with it. So I think I just say it sounds stupid, but just go with your gut feeling. I trusted you and I trust the program and I trust the material. And I was just like, you know what, let's do it. And it worked.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so good because I think most people are in that position, like you said, where they're most people I've talked to are kind of on the fence, and it's just the like, can I do it by myself thing? And trust me, I get that thought because when I started my home service business, I was in the same boat of like, do I need to pay for help? But it's like, will I make less money by shortcutting all of the theoretical problems and all of the gaps in my knowledge that I don't know about sales that someone else might know that they can compile all into one place? And I have a group of people also like competing with me and like building each other up on a day-to-day basis, like answering any questions I have. Will I make less money by doing that? It's like, of course not. And it's like, not only are you going to make your money back if you put in the work, but you're going to like 100x your money back. But it's like you have to be willing to, like you said, take that risk. Because at the end of the day, it is up to you, and it always is. But um, sweet bro, this has been awesome. Thanks for popping on. And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, for sure. See you, man.